This is gonna be another one of those videos where I just start talking. I woke up just like half an hour ago, finished one video, which you've probably already seen. Then I finished another video, and now it's the third one. I haven't reviewed this paper like this morning, so I'm just like letting it go. It's very raw. I read it yesterday. The title is An Unusual Case of Gynecomastia Associated with Soy Product Consumption. So if you're a vegan, you're taking a lot of soy, pay attention. If you have friends who eat a lot of soy, even if they're not vegan, I mean, a soy sauce, a lot of Chinese people, Asian people eat soy, even if they're not vegan. So just be careful of these things. This is published in Medscape. It's not like a journal, I don't think. I'm sure it's some kind of like a magazine that they give you, but it's just an endocrine practice paper in Medscape, and I'm gonna link in the description. Oh, by the way, everything that I discuss here, I'm going to talk about the figures. We're going to walk through the whole paper together. We're going to be very engaging. It's like I'm presenting at a science conference, and you're like debating with me, and we're talking about stuff, testosterone and all this stuff. I'm going to go on different tangents to educate you and spread as much value as I can. Now, this is a case report. It is like, for example, Dr. House, he gets all these case reports, and Dr. House, I don't know if you know, it's a show. Forget about it. It's just a case report. It's not like a study with like 100 people or 300 people. It's just one person came to the lab or came into the clinic, the hospital, and reported a problem, in this case gynecomastia. They got to the bottom of it, they solved it, and then they published a paper about it. So I'm going to go into my notes as well to make sure I didn't miss anything at the very end. I have a couple of pages of notes. But yeah, let's just dive in. So first of all, let me talk about what gynecomastia is and what is soy. Gynecomastia is like man boobs, bitch tits. It's when you have a lot of estrogen inside of your breasts. Like, men get these, okay? It's like puffy nipples, you could say. No matter how much you work out, it kind of doesn't go away because it's like breast tissue. Sometimes it goes away with surgery, and even with surgery, sometimes you have to do it really quickly, or it builds up and then you're never gonna get rid of it. It's very, it's like an insecurity a lot of guys have, even like very built guys, like fucking Zach, who's super built. He had an issue with having gyno for a while, and he played with his head, and he doesn't give a shit anymore. He understands it now. So the guy who came in was 60 years old, 60 years old at the time. Oh, by the way, this is 2008 paper. So that's 9 years old. And they also did a little bit of the literature review, so we're going to get into some aspects of what's happening in the science with regards to these things. So they did a physical examination first. He had normal genitalia, gynecomastia, very normal concentrations of prolactin, LH, FSH, total, and free testosterone. So all of his testosterone was fine, nothing wrong with it. Even his beta human chorionic gonadotropin, which is also one of the precursors of testosterone. All of this was very normal. However, his estradiol concentration was 180 picograms per milliliter, and the reference is 13 to 59. So it was like 3 times the high of the reference. It was really high. And his estrone concentration was 543 picograms per milliliter, whereas the reference ranges from 15 to 65. So this is like almost 10 times the top of the reference range. So this is crazy. So the guy's, everything is pretty normal, but his concentrations of hormones and derivatives that are associated with estrogen were super high. So now let's get into this table that they have here. Now here they show us the dates where they measured estradiol, estrone, and SHBG. The reason they measured SHBG is because they wanted to see if SHBG was playing a part in this entire gynecomastia thing. You see the reference ranges on the bottom, and you see the results. So now you'll see that this is almost like it's a little bit more than 3 years that they did this study. They monitored everything. So you see in December 2003, when the guy came in, it was 180, 543, 75. Right? That 180 estradiol became 21. So he became normal after a while, after like 3 years. And he started becoming normal already before that. And same thing with estrone, he became normal, and then with SHBG. Now I'm gonna show you a figure where you see something really interesting. Now, this guy was consuming 3 quarts of soy milk. Now, didn't get into that yet. Now, you might think, okay, so what is he fucking doing? This guy was taking 376.1 milligrams of soy per day. Soy milk, 3 quarts per day. 1 cup is like enough for a lot of people, but this guy was going crazy. I don't know what diet he followed. Maybe it was some YouTuber. I have no idea, but it's very sad. Now you see in this figure, estradiol and estrone picograms per milliliter. You'll see that let's look at estrone first. You see that here, December 1st, 2003, it was really high. He first came into the lab and they took his tests. And they actually didn't know at first what was going on. So they didn't know it was soy. They did all these exams and they're like, we don't really know what the fuck it is. Go home. So that's why you see that estrone decreased a bit here and estradiol is actually increasing a bit, right? So this is sort of what's happening in the beginning. That dot you see, stopped soy milk, that's actually what we need to focus on, because that's when the doctors told him stop soy milk, because that's when they figured it out. At first, they didn't figure it out. They didn't know that it was soy. They were just doing a bunch of tests. So that's what you see in the first square, the second square. They were just figuring things out. Then they told him stop soy milk. Now, when they say stop soy milk, look what happens. His estradiol and his estrone decrease. Okay? But then he starts another drink, which he doesn't know that soy is the main ingredient in that drink. He doesn't know that. But he starts it. And look what happens. His estrone levels and his estradiol levels go up. And then they do a test and they're like, wait, your levels went down, now they're up again. So he tells them, I'm taking this other drink, which is not soy milk, but it had soy as the main ingredient. He just didn't read the ingredients. Guys, read the ingredients, please. So now they said, okay, stop that too. Now he stops all soy, and voila, a little while later, his results are that estrogen returns to normal. Estradiol and estrone are related to estrogen. They return to normal. This is what they can measure. That's why I'm showing you that. Okay, so that is very interesting. It was a period of 3 years, and guess what? His gynecomastia. Okay, so this is, I'm going to show you another figure. So it's part of the mechanisms. But yeah, so his gynecomastia went away after 3 years. We're talking specifically about soy. So he was drinking 3 quarts of soy milk for every day for 6 months. Okay, so it took him a few years to get rid of the estrogen components inside of his breast tissue, and he had no more gynecomastia. It went away. His other symptoms went away as well. This same guy also reported low libido, other features of feminism and low masculinity. So all of those symptoms, including low libido, went away. So this guy is a really, really interesting study. Again, it's one guy that they studied. Take that with a grain of salt. And yeah, something interesting to think about, right? So if you have gyno, think about how much soy you're taking. And another thing I'm wondering, I want you to comment below, is why do people just trust crazy things like drinking 3 quarts of soy milk a day? Like, where did the guy hear that? I have an idea. So I have a friend who lives in Brooklyn, in Manhattan. And he heard on YouTube that if you drink a gallon of milk every day, you're gonna gain mass. He heard it from a really famous YouTube celebrity. And he did that for a month, my friend. And he grew all of these pimples all over his body. Right now, he doesn't look very good. It looks nasty. And now he's stopped drinking a gallon of milk a day. Now he's becoming a little bit better. He's becoming more normal. He feels better. But this is the shit that happens on YouTube. A lot of crazy diets are being given. Don't do anything crazy. Like, talk to people. Like, comment. Talk with your friends. Read. Talk with your professors. Like, there's a lot of stuff you could do. I beg you to do that. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is, there's a lot of stuff here. Before I talk about the last figure, where I tell you the mechanism through which this whole thing happened, or what they think the mechanism is, I'm gonna go through my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything. All right. Gyno for 6 months. We talked about that. He had problems with erectile dysfunction as well, not just low libido. So keep that in mind. The estrone and estradiol were both 4-fold higher, approximately. He stopped soy milk, it all returned to normal. All other hormones were normal, we know that. The reason, this is interesting, the reason. So the reason he's not like a vegan or anything, okay? I'll tell you why. The reason he was taking soy milk is because he's lactose intolerant. So that was the only thing he thinks is available. And then when he did the other drink, remember I showed you the other drink in the figure? Even that drink was for lactose intolerant people. Didn't have so be careful of what you do if you're lactose intolerant. Like, do you need to drink milk? I don't drink milk. I mean, I drink raw milk if I can get some, but I don't really drink milk. Do you really need to drink milk? Especially cow milk? All right. Okay, cool. This is interesting. All right, so check it out. So they talk about isoflavones here too, right? I'm going to get into a figure soon. Diadzine and genistein, which are in soy. The absorption and metabolism of these isoflavones can vary from individual to individual, so keep that in mind. And he was taking 361 milligrams per day, not 376.1. I made that mistake earlier. The more surgery is delayed, the worse, because fibrotic tissue changes can occur. Now, this is really interesting. So what they say is, if you consume foods that allow you to gain estrogen and get man boobs, then there could be fibrotic tissue increase inside of your breasts, as a man, and then don't delay surgery, basically. If you really want to get rid of it, do it with surgery. And if it's not so bad, if it's like moderate, then you can do it by getting rid of your estrogenic foods, getting rid of all the estrogens in the environment. We have another video about plastics. Go watch that video. I'm gonna put that in the description below. It's a YouTube video about how plastics can have a xenoestrogen that can hurt your testosterone as well. So watch that. Now to end, I'm gonna show you this figure here. I showed you this in the previous video too. These are just phytoestrogens. These are diadzine and genistein. And you see how their structures, their structural formulas look very similar to 7-beta estradiol and estrone. And that is why they serve as phytoestrogens. They can bind to the receptors that these 7-beta estradiol and estrone are usually binding to, or what estrogen is usually binding to. Diadzine and genistein can bind to them. And even though their bioactivity, or what they're doing after binding to these receptors, even the bioactivity is a little bit slower, a little bit less effective than estrogen itself, it is going to have estrogenic properties. That's why it's known as a phytoestrogen. It's a fucking short video, only 15 minutes today. Yeah, man. Hit the like button if you like this. Apologize for a little bit of the confusion in the figures. I'm gonna write in the description all the little summaries and what I talk about, some timestamps so you can get specifically, and if you don't give a shit about the tangents that I go on, the rants I go on, which are very knowledgeable to some people but not to others, then you can just look at the timestamps and get the value you need. Also, yeah, man, Let me know what you think about these videos. Comment below. Let me know what are your thoughts on soy, if you consume soy or not. I'm gonna talk about, this is just one case, remember that, right? So I'm gonna give you videos where, or papers where they say soy is good, right? Because there's a lot of research done with soy that it reduces the risk of breast cancer, it lowers heart disease risk, it lowers cholesterol. There's a lot of things other things that soy does that could be good. So I'm gonna talk about that as well in other papers. There's a lot of controversy. This concept of, so one reason is because isoflavones, these structural formulas I showed you, they can serve as agonists or antagonists to these estrogen receptors. I talked about that in another video. I'm gonna really quickly go through it here. An agonist is something that's excitatory. It helps the receptor do its thing. An antagonist blocks it. It doesn't let the receptor do its thing. So they don't, some studies claim isoflavones are antagonists, which means they would lower estrogen activity, and some people say it's agonists and they up estrogenic activity. So it just depends on the paper, and we're gonna do a lot more research and figure this out, and I hope a lot more research is being done. So yeah, comment below, what are your thoughts on soy? What are your thoughts on these types of videos? What are your thoughts about me? How can I get better? I always want to get better, guys. Remember, we're trying to hit 100K subs by the end of August. So let's fucking get this done. Also, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends so they can get it as well. And I have an ebook available on doctestosterone.com. It has all of the testosterone I've studied over the last 3 years. All the knowledge is there. So grab that ebook, doctestosterone.com, and money back guarantee. So there's nothing to lose, no questions asked. So go there, look at all the testimonials. It's really cheap. It's like a few bucks, I think. You can check it, or very close to being free. I think you just have to pay for like a few bucks. But all the testimonials are there. Check those out. Everyone who's gained from it. It's also a Amazon bestseller, so you can see all those like 30 reviews on Amazon. We're like 4.9 out of 5 on Amazon. Doing really well. Thanks a lot for your support, guys. Science is amazing. I love learning Spanish. I love Latin girls. Latin girls have amazing bodies. Like, holy shit. I get so distracted at cafes, I'm just gonna work from home from now on, or I won't be able to work. And I love Latin dancing. I love sensuality. I love how nice people are. Like the doctor last night was so nice, man. He gave me his WhatsApp, and I'm like contacting him now. He's my buddy. It's crazy. And yeah, man, I love everything here. Thank you. Love you.